I'm going to tie a relatively simple pike fly. This one's called Lossos lure, and it's basically a fibre sort of fish, and it's in a white, orange and black colour scheme. So for the core of the tail, what I'm going to do is take maybe 8 or 10 strands of pearl crystal here, and then I'll match up the two ends of that, and then I'll get a loop where the middle is, cut that with my scissors, and then because of the way I've held it, I have sort of two separate bunches, and pull one bunch past the other one by 1.5 inches or so. Then set that out behind, tie it in about 2/3 or so along its length, and fold that back. And that should give you a sort of a tapering bunch of crystal here to form the core of the tail. A little bit of super glue. Now we're going to put a rattle in this, so what I've done here is I've taken a bit of shrink tubing, placed my rattle up inside it and flashed it with a flame. And I'm going to set that up then on top, and wrap over it. Then we take our super glue and just coat those wrappings, and that'll hold that in place and give us a central core with a rattle. So now take a bunch of white synthetic fibre. This is going to form the sort of bulk of the fly. So I've taken here, my fly is going to be sort of this length, so I'm taking a bunch that is about 25% or so longer than the intended full length of the fly. And then if I start pulling little bunches out of it, because it's quite slippy, it'll slip through your hands, and I'm misaligning the bunch so that I'll end up with a taper to it. Set that on, allow it to sort of splay around the shank of the hook, and then bind that down. Now I'm using gel spun here as my tying thread, but you can use big fly or something like that. And the thing with the gel spun is very, very strong, but it's like Teflon. There's very little friction between it and the materials, so you just have to make sure and glue them in at every sort of attempt. So I've folded back my bunch, and then I'm letting the super glue soak into the base of that. Now if I leave that to sort of splay out, whenever it sets, it'll hold that initial shape and give me a bit more of a sort of hollow. If I want my fly to be quite flat, I can pull that down, pull the upper bit up, and if you want, you can pinch that. You'll glue yourself to it, like, but it will change that to a flatter profile. So now for the orange portion, again similar sort of material as the white bit, but I don't want as long a bunch this time. This is more just to act as like a collar or a ruff and give us that orange colour. So I'm going to bind in that bunch roughly across its middle. This is sort of a slightly wavier or curlier fibre as well. Back in position, make a little dam of our tying thread, and then and tie in, super glue in the base of it. Just comb the fibres out and then hold these back just to let that dry in. So I'll now move forward to the finishing point, and now I'm going to take a bunch of black craft fur, so tips this way, stroke out some of this shorter stuff. Set it on and sort of allow it to splay around. A loose loop and then tighten it down and it will start to spread itself out. That is all those materials that are going on the fly are on now. So finish that off. I'm going to brush out the black craft fur. Hold it back into position, and then, as before, glue that in. And that'll just help with the overall sort of baitfish profile of it. So next we need some eyes, and on this one I'm going to put on these orange and black ones. And I'll put them on with this, which is Evo Stick Serious Glue. A good blob of that onto the back of my eye, set it up on its side so I can see what I'm doing, and sort of plonk that in so it'll bulge up around the eye. It'll also push it into the materials underneath, and if I can get a little bit of a lip to come out over the edge of the eye, I think it makes it a lot more secure. Just check for position. And that's it. Lossos